Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 384, Season 2, Episode 304. Getting into the 300s is confusing me so much because I'm used to saying 200 whatever. But yeah, this was really good. I think this fight is... Gosh, I have to reread sometime soon. I really do. I've been rereading Boku no Hero Academia in what very little free time I have because I wanted to do a top characters video and stuff on that. And I want to reread, after I get done with that, I'm going to reread Tower of God. And once I do that, I'll do a favorite arcs video and a favorite characters video for Tower of God. So look forward to them. But I'll need to reread to say this conclusively, but I think this turned out to probably be one of the best fights in the series. I don't know. See, I'll have to reread to see how it compares to, like, Ron and Ieta, or, say, Bomb and Kaiser. That was a really good one. Or even Bomb Raccoon versus Reflejo, I remember being pretty good the last time I reread, I think. I've reread the series like 7 times, but no time within like the past 2 years have I done that, so there's some older things that I've obviously read 7 times over, so I remember pretty well, but a lot of the stuff from the recent few arcs I don't remember that well. But I would say at least it's not Bomb versus Joaquin level yet. But it's getting up there. This is a really, really good fight. And I think this is probably the best chapter of the fight. I know like 2 or 3 chapters ago there was the really good storyline one where we first see Bomb saying, you know, I'm going to fight like me, and him doing his flashback to where he drew the line and said, this is my power. That was a really good one. And I don't even know if I scored this one as highly as I scored that one. Because man, the scores are sometimes meaningless because I forget what I give past chapters to compare them or whatever. But yeah, this was good, and it's kind of short. I feel like there's a lot of things to discuss from the blog and a lot of general things to talk about that this chapter kind of brought into play. So the review I don't think is going to be really short, but the chapter was mostly combat, so there wasn't as much actually in the chapter, because of all the combat panels, which were really good this time around too. The art is always really good, but it seems like, I don't know, the art is always really good and it's always improving, but it seems like there were different points in the story where I personally thought the art was better than others, and I think this is a high point right now. And I think going back and rereading in a few years, this will be one of the high points of the series. This arc in general I've liked. But starting at the beginning, Bomb is in burnt chestnut form now. We get to see what it's actually like. They mentioned that the Shinsu is moving and vibrating around them, and that I think they describe it as being like a wave. But again, with general things like that, it's kind of hard to tell the exact nature of things because of translation and all that, and how it's not always uniform. But they're saying that he has the power of an administrator, and also his thorns that he had before that were like the red and blue Shinsu thorns are now like actual physical, or horns, not thorns, or actual physical horns on his head. So this really does kind of remind me a lot of Joe's Thrissa transformation, or at least an early form of it. So I kind of feel like this new form, this power, is something kind of similar to that. What did Bomb call it? His ignition or whatever? So I guess that this ignition form Bomb, the burnt chestnut form, is similar to Joe's Thrissa form. But Bomb's power has increased a lot. They make mention of that, but they also make mention through Zahard, and I believe through Edwan, and I think CU brings it up in the blog as well, that though Bomb's power in this form has increased a whole hell of a lot, Bomb can't really control it yet. His power has improved, but his control over said power doesn't improve with a new form. His skill with using said power doesn't improve because of a new form. It's just that it gives him more power to work with. So he does all this, and then we see a new version of Endless Sky using the Black Shinsu, really, really cool, and it destroys Zahard's arm, actually. So Zahard busts out a new second Cosmos, which the Cosmos I mentioned in the live reaction. I think it's one of the cooler looking abilities that we've seen in the entire series. I think Cosmos looks really cool. Both times that CU has drawn it, it's looked great. So Bomb takes down Cosmos with a move that he calls Rapid Fire Shinsu Cannon, and it looks similar to things we've seen before. It looks similar to when he first used the orb, and he used the swirling multiple blasts from the one orb. I forget what he took down with it. Maybe he was just breaking rocks apart. That might have been it. But it seems kind of similar to that, and it also seems kind of similar to, I'm not sure if it was Maelstrom or if it was a different one, but one of his Yuhan Sung Shinsu techniques that he used to use, it looks like a black Shinsu version of that. Not sure if it was Maelstrom, though. I don't remember all of Bomb's attacks offhand, because I guess, again, translation's kind of part of that, because the names have been different and different people have called them different things, and I think Bomb has used the same move multiple times but with different translations of the names, so it's difficult to keep track of them all, but it's similar to one of his Yuan Sung style techniques. Once he takes down the second Cosmos, Zahard is laughing. He's really enjoying being able to fight like this, and it's making him feel a way that he's thinking to himself he hasn't felt in a long time. Bomb still can't fully block Coelacanth when Zahard uses it. It knocks him backwards. Bomb then creates 3 orbs, so in this form he doesn't just have the 1 orb as a weapon, he has 3 of them. Zahard goes at him with the 3rd form of Lecalicus. I'm wondering, though, I haven't been able to figure this out, and again, I don't want to keep blaming things on translation, but it's just the nature of things. When you're translating something from one language to the next, you're going to miss some certain things or get some certain things wrong in context. So what I was thinking is, I was like, they called the needle Lecalicus, and the way that it was kind of explained in English makes it seem like the needle itself is Lecalicus, and Coelacanth is the 2nd form, and Leviathan's the 3rd form, but we didn't have a name for the first one. What if it's just the needle itself has a different name depending on form, and Lecalicus is just the name of the 1st form? Maybe that's it, and then 2nd form is Coelacanth, and 3rd is Leviathan? I don't know. But he uses Leviathan, and Bomb counters with a Transcendental skill, which I think they're going to be important. I think Transcendental skills are going to be something that we get more explanation of, and they're going to be kind of a special thing. So he uses the Transcendental skill, and he calls it Remnant of Stars, Stardust. And I mentioned in the live reaction, I was like, did Bomb use a Transcendental skill before? Or was it, I forget who else I thought it might have been. But I actually looked it up after I read day before yesterday, because now, of course, it's Wednesday. I'm always late with these. But I actually looked it up, and it was Masheni that used a Transcendental skill before, and it was called Great Spear of Dawn. And she used that after taking one of the lightning pills. I forget what the... I think there's another name for those, but I just remember it as lightning pill because that's what Ron called it when he first used it. So we've seen it with Masheni, and she had to use the lightning pill in order to do it. Now we've seen it with Bomb, and he has to use the thorn in order to do it. So what I'm thinking is maybe a Transcendental skill is something that someone can only use with some kind of boost or power up. So that might be the explanation behind what a Transcendental skill is, but we don't know yet. I think it's going to be something that gets explained later on. I think it's going to be something important, though. Oh yeah, also the Stardust, Remnant of... I like Remnant of Stars better than Stardust, even though it had both names there in the chapter. I like Remnant of Stars better because it fits more with like Great Spear of Dawn, and it fits more with that same naming convention, I guess. But it was actually colorless Shinsu, unlike the black Shinsu attacks he was using earlier. So I think it's cool that, because I think I said before that we know that V used a needle, didn't he? I'm not quite sure. But I think the orb was like Bomb's mother's weapon. I think that was the kind of thing that Arlen would have used because Arlen was known for spells and using Shinsu-like magic. And we know that the thorn, Siyu said, or not the thorn, the orb, Siyu said, is the first step towards Bomb using Shinsu-like magic. So I like that the orb as a weapon uses colorless Shinsu, which may be related to Arlen or the Grace family or whatever, since we know that each of the 13 warriors had a color of Shinsu associated with them. And we can assume that black is probably associated with V. Yeah, I think that was it for the fight we saw. We just got to see Bomb and Zahard both blown back, and honestly, that was my favorite part of the chapter. Just the emotion of it, and the art was really good. Both of them blown backwards, bleeding, and then both opening their eyes at the same time. That was probably my favorite part of the entire chapter. But right at the end, we see that the scale is now trapped with the sworn enemy Yurik Mazano, and that's where we end off for this week. I'm completely happy with that. I did see some people mentioning that they're like, what's up with no Agro Agnes and Rachel? I still kind of stick by what I was thinking in the live reaction, though, where I think maybe the reason CU did this is because, obviously, I don't think Agro Agnes is going to die. I don't think anybody thinks it, honestly. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to get out of it because of this or that, and everybody has their theories, which is good. So I think that it's just because the next time we see them, we're going to be getting into how he survived, and it would be kind of anticlimactic in a way if CU were to say one chapter, oh my god, Rachel betrayed him, he's going to die, and then the very next chapter be like, oh no, he's not going to die because insert explanation here. I think that this is a way to give us a little bit of extra time to wonder if he's going to survive or not before the reveal, so that it isn't too anticlimactic when he does survive. And now some blog info to discuss. There's actually a lot of really good stuff. Sometimes the blog has like nothing that's super duper important to the lore of the series, and then sometimes out of nowhere CU's like, oh, let me drop and explain a ton of lore to you. So there's actually a lot to talk about. He mentions that Bomb can't control this new burnt chestnut form, and that the form has a time limit, which makes sense and is kind of a good drawback to put on the character's ability, so I think it's good that it has a time limit. But then there was this other sentence where he says something like the duration for the form is shorter outside of the hidden floor, and I have no idea what that's actually supposed to mean. I feel like the blog translation, I don't want to blame things on translations. It's just one of those things that's natural. It's like, I don't know how accurate that sentence is or how right that sentence is, because it didn't directly expressly say the duration is shorter outside of the hidden floor. It just kind of like it kind of inferred that in a way, so I'm left to guess that that's what they meant by the sentence, that the duration shorter outside of the hidden floor, but I have no clue what they meant, and it wasn't super duper clear. So yeah, that might be a thing, might not be a thing. But either way, it does have a time limit. Also, CU brought up that each thorn will be unique and different, and that Bomb will gain more transcendental skills as he gains more thorns. So I guess that would mean, I actually like that a lot, that each thorn might be a different sort of thing, and maybe they'll each have a different sort of the demon spirit fusing into the last demon spirit within him. But each thorn fragment will be unique. I really like that. And I really like the idea that maybe Remnant of Stars is just the one he has. It doesn't expressly say that he's only going to have one per thorn fragment, but I think it would be cool if he only had one per thorn fragment. Like, he has Remnant of Stars now, he gets a second thorn fragment, and he gets a new transcendental skill until he has all 4 thorn fragments and all 4 skills. I think personally that would be a cool way to do things, but that's not exactly how, like, he wasn't that specific with how he worded it. He just said that as Bomb gets more thorn fragments, he'll get more skills. He didn't say that it was just going to be 1 each. So either way. Also, he brings up currently Bomb can't even handle the 1 thorn fragment he has. So again, I think that's good, giving Bomb those drawbacks and stuff. And the next thing is another kind of pretty important thing, is that, because I've seen a lot of people discuss it too, so I think it was good that he brought it up, where CU said that he gets questions all the time about the floating, like why can Zahard and Edwan float and why can't Bomb do it, or why did these certain characters just float in the air and others don't, what's the process behind it, if Bomb could just float, why does he need the blue ore, things like that. And I've seen a lot of people discuss that, so I thought it was good that he was like, I'm going to give an actual explanation here and explain how the logic behind this works. He says that Edwan and Zahard can make their bodies buoyant and maintain that buoyancy, but Bomb isn't skilled enough to do that yet. And he also says he's thinking about giving the blue ores more uses than just floating, like if Bomb can use the blue ores to accelerate or to even attack. But that's cool, and I love it because CU is kind of just biased toward the blue ore because he likes it as an ability, and it's one of my favorite abilities of Bomb's too. But I like that he brings that up because Bomb has a lot of skills. But I think it's cool that just making himself buoyant with Shinsu is a skill that he hasn't learned. But he has these other things, and he has the blue ore, so he doesn't really need to learn it, really. And it's cool to see that we have characters like Irure and Fonsen Lore. Both of them can use the buoyancy and float or whatever, too. So I think it's cool that that got an actual explanation, and it was actually mentioned why some people can or can't do it. It's just a particular skill that some people have learned, or that some people have and some people don't, or haven't learned. So some general thoughts I had for the chapter here at the end. I completely love the fight. My favorite part, like I said, was Bomb and Zahard both being knocked back. I thought that was probably one of the more emotional little bits, and just the way it was drawn was really nice. I also like the detail that's in the writing of all Bomb's new abilities and stuff, where all of them have different drawbacks and different things that they can do. I like that some of them are a certain color to signify V, or the red Thrissa or blue Thrissa, or the or to symbolize Arlen or whatever, or the orb. I like that they each have these little or the horns and how they look like a Thrissa. The thorn and how it's stabbed through him or floating behind him, depending on whether it's ignited or not. I like that there's a lot of this art stuff that sort of not really symbolizes stuff, but like the horns are there to hint back to the Thrissas. They have different things that hint to things within his powers, and I just like the detail in all of that. The art was amazing, particularly this week too, and yeah, the way I think things could possibly go from where we are now, like I said, Agnes is surviving and whatnot. I think that that Bomb is the closest one to that core beside him. So I think he's going to smash that core, and if he does, that means he and Zahard will be tied. Or maybe both of them are just too hurt from that attack that neither can capitalize on it at the moment. I don't know. But I think Bomb is going to destroy it. And from there we have two options. Zahard could either say, okay, we're tied, that means it's got to be a fight to the death or something, and then that fight gets interrupted by the hidden floor collapsing because the scale was destroyed or something. They could do that, but I doubt it. I think what's going to happen is Zahard's going to be like, okay, you gave me a good fight, we tied, I'm so happy and excited about getting to fight you like this, my blood was pumping, and he's going to kind of acknowledge Bomb and say, okay, you're a cool guy. And then maybe Bomb will be able to get whatever it is. I keep forgetting about that because it's not like the whole point of them going there was to get whatever it is. But ever since we've come here, we've pretty much not even mentioned it. So it's kind of been in the background that I keep forgetting about it. So maybe Zahard will say, I acknowledge you, and just give him whatever it is. No clue. I have no idea what's going on with all of that. But yeah, I guess that's about all my thoughts. I had barely any notes here, and I talked for almost 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. My score would be, I wrote down 9.75. So I guess 9.75 Endless Skies out of 10. I don't know how that compares to other chapters, compared to how I thought about other chapters, though. So that score might not be very meaningful. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Can't think of anything more that I wanted to talk about in the review here, so yeah, if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, then just ask and I'll give you a link to Discord. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.